Night, the empty lab was eerily silent. Max, a young engineer, sat at his desk, staring at a small device, the prototype of a LEAP drive. He'd spent years developing. It was his last hope. Deadlines loomed, and failure seemed inevitable. "If this doesn't work," he whispered, his voice trailing off as he initiated the test. The device sparked life, but before he could react, Max felt his body being pulled into a void. When he opened his eyes, he was somewhere else. Towering, floating crystals surrounded him, glowing in a soft, violet light. The gravity was weak. Every movement felt like a leap. He stood up, only to notice the device on the ground, its screen blinking with an ominous countdown. 3 minutes. No, not now. Max muttered, panic rising. If the timer hit 0, the device would self-destruct and likely take him with it. Looking around, he noticed streams of energy connecting the crystals. Instinctively, he reached out to touch one. Symbols of light swirled around him as the crystal resonated with the device. This was the key. Time was running out. He worked frantically, sensing the drive with the energy flows. To minutes 1, the countdown ticked down relentlessly. 10 seconds. Come on, please," Max yelled as he activated the final sequence. The energy surged, enveloping him in another blinding flash. Then silence. When Max opened his eyes again, he was lying on the lab floor. The device, now dim but intact, rested beside him. His breathing was heavy, but his lips curled into a triumphant smile. "This is just the beginning," he whispered, staring at the stars outside his window. Days passed, but Max couldn't stop thinking about what he'd seen. The crystals, the symbols, the alien world. It was real. He began dismantling the device, uncovering fragments of data it had recorded, coordinates, energy readings, and traces of an unknown material. This wasn't just a scientific breakthrough, it was a discovery that could change everything. When Max presented his findings to his colleagues, their reactions were cold. "This is impossible," one engineer scoffed. "You're saying you jumped to another dimension? If that were true, you wouldn't have made it back." But Max knew better. He had been there, and he was determined to go back. Driven by his obsession, he worked tirelessly to improve the prototype, adding new fail-safes and refining the controls. This time, he wanted to make the leap intentional, to understand where he was going, and, more importantly, how to return. As the weeks went by, a new thought began to consume him. What if there was life on that planet? Who or what had created those crystals? Finally, the day came. Max loaded new coordinates, the ones the device had recorded, and prepared for the second leap. "Leap 2, he said, his voice steady. "Let's